Russian missiles hit an industrial area of Kharkiv on Saturday, just hours after a drone attack struck civilian targets in Ukraine's second largest city. Russia has been increasing its attacks in recent weeks as Ukrainian troops wait and have waited for the delivery of much-needed U.S. weapons. Last week, President Zelensky said the Russian army is trying to take advantage of this period, and he called for faster delivery. Those are those pictures from Kharkiv that I was just talking about. In an exclusive interview, I asked Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal about the urgency to get that U.S. aid to the front lines, his country's trust in the NATO alliance, and his message to Canada. Prime Minister, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
I want to start with the delivery of U.S. military aid to Ukraine. I spoke to the Pentagon spokesperson last week who said it was on its way. Can you confirm how much of this new U.S. aid is in Ukraine or coming to Ukraine right now?
We are waiting this supplying as fast as soon as possible. We still can prove that we have this in Ukraine right now, but we are waiting for this ammunition, for air defense systems and missiles, for other military equipment, and especially long and middle range equipment, which is crucially needed on the front line to change situation and not just deter Russian aggression on the front line, but also to cut their logistics and to have possibility to push them from our occupied lands here in Ukraine.
There was obviously a delay in getting this package. Do you think Russia took advantage of that delay and on the battlefield and had some success because of the delay?
Unfortunately, I can approve this. We have this 6 months delay, and Russians during this period unfortunately invade Avdiivka and some other villages. It is not crucial if to compare to the Ukrainian territory, but tactically we lost some our territories, some our land, and now we will need to fight to counter-offensive in this part of front line. But generally, we have absolutely enough power, enough condition, I mean moral power, to fight, to protect our land, to continue pushing Russians out of our land, our territories. So we just are waiting for the weaponry, for the ammunition, and especially, I will repeat, artillery munition and long and middle range equipment. But the most crucial and important now is air defense, and especially air defense missiles to protect Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructure, because Russians continue their energy terror, their terror against of civilian population of Ukraine.
Part of that U.S. legislation also will now allow the U.S. to seize frozen Russian assets and then use those funds to help Ukraine. How will that help? And do you hope that other allies do the same?
I should say that Canada was the first country in the world which adopted special legislation for confiscation of Russian assets, and first private Russian assets were confiscated in Canada. So it was like a exemplary model for behavior of the countries, of the allies and partners of Ukraine. We are so much grateful for this and appreciate this so much. So now United States are second country which adopt legislation for confiscation of sovereign Russian assets. This is responsibilities of the President of United States to take decision how, when, and where to direct this confiscated sovereign Russian assets. But we hope that it will happen this year and that all G7 countries will support this decision, and we will have confiscation of all total amount of frozen or immobilized Russian assets. Why? Because we need to recover and to support Ukraine, we need more than $486 billion because of the damages and losses which Russia caused in Ukraine during this period only on the controlled for now territory. So this is a huge amount, and the only sustainable and enough source to finance these needs is frozen Russian assets.
The Secretary General of NATO was in Kyiv recently, where he said that he believes Ukraine's trust in allies had taken a dent because of the failure of delivering arms. Do you agree? Did that impact Ukraine's belief in NATO allies and your trust in the support of NATO allies?
I should say that from the first days of this war, Canada support Ukraine so much in all spheres, in all directions, from the sanction policy to the political support. Canada support all the UN resolutions for Ukraine during this tough period. We have support of military, we have support of humanitarian goods and commodities, and we appreciate this so much. And we understand that without support of partners and allies, it was impossible to deter Russians and to continue this war so long period. So we really appreciate support all of the partners. We have the biggest amount from United States, from European Union. Canada is top 5th supporter of Ukraine if estimate financial part, more than 13 billion Canadian dollars. This is a contribution of Canada during this more than 2 years. And we are so much grateful for this.
Let me ask you about something that the French president, Emmanuel Macron, said again this week. He has said it before, he said it again this week, that he would not rule out sending troops to Ukraine if Kyiv put in that request. Is that possible? And under what circumstances would Ukraine ask for boots on the ground, troops from another country?
We are grateful for any kind of support. I will repeat, and sanctions. We need sanction support. We need military support. We need political support, and any kind of support if France or other partners will take decision to bring their soldiers or instructors or consultants on Ukrainian territory. We will appreciate this, and I believe that it will easier for us to push Russians out from our territory. But now we ask from the partners only weaponry and equipment, military equipment, to protect our country, to protect democratical principles and values, and to protect European borders. So we appreciate this idea, and if the time will come, we will be absolutely grateful and we will be glad.
You have said that if Ukraine falls and loses to Russia, which is something I know you don't think will happen, but if it were to happen, that it will lead to World War III. Do you think that the West and that your allies have a clear understanding of what is at stake?
We are absolutely clear, and I think that we all are on the same page. If just imagine that Ukraine will fall, so the next targets of Russia will be Poland, will be Baltic countries, maybe some other European countries, and it will lead to needs for NATO to come into this war, and actually it will be the Third World War. And because of this, we need unity among European Union, we need unity among G7, we need unity among all of our partners to have all needed support and to protect not only our land, but also protect global future.
Let me end on this, Prime Minister. The next NATO meeting is in July in Washington. What is your government's expectations when it comes to joining the alliance? And do you think you will see a formal invitation for that to happen?
In fact, now Ukraine is NATO, army of Ukraine is NATO army, because we are fighting by weaponry of NATO. We are fighting according NATO standards. Our army works according to the NATO standards. So we implement all needed reforms. And now we are step before invitation. So actually we are waiting for invitation into NATO. We count on allies that this political decision will be taken during this summit in Washington. And we also are counting on the continuing support from the partners, from the allies. We begin to sign agreements for guarantees of security among our partners, and this kind of agreements will act until Ukraine will become member of NATO.
Prime Minister, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you so much.